you can count on us. This is 7 News Good Morning Fort Sill.
Well, good morning, Fort Sill, and happy Friday. We got a big weekend ahead, obviously, especially if you're a football fan.
So. Absolutely, and we'll be talking about the Academy, the big Academy game coming up this weekend. But first, let's go ahead and check out the weather this morning for this morning's PT forecast with Michael. Michael, what's it looking like right now? So looking like mid-30s, so not as cold as yesterday.
Not as cold as yesterday. Now, I will say this number that we're getting from the airport. It says 34 at the airport, but it says 43 at the station. So I'm going to go with upper 30s and lower 40s across the area in general, especially here in Comanche County. But we are seeing mostly clear skies. A lot of the upper level clouds that we're seeing are just to our north. For your PT forecast, generally expect upper 30s and lower 40s, and then moving to the mid 40s, and then eventually around 50 degrees by 9 a.m. this morning. Look at that satellite and radar. You can see nothing much going on across Texoma overall, but we're seeing a little bit of upper level clouds coming in from the northwest. That's where they're going to stay. Some of that may sneak into our northern counties, but again, we're going to see mostly sunny to sunny skies for the rest of the day. As we look at the Jackson County Memorial Hospital Tower, we can see mostly clear skies, and I think you can see the moon later on this morning, especially into the latter morning hours. It is I believe in its last quarter phase. Yesterday we had a high of 71 degrees, so I actually predicted or forecasted a high of around 67 degrees, so just a few degrees above normal, well above average for this time of year. Elsewhere we had a high of 71 as well. In Wichita Falls, 68 was the high in Duncan, 67 in Chickasha, 69 in Elk City, 73 in Vernon, and 75 in Childress.
U.S. forces have seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. Dramatic video shows the military taking control of the vessel, and the Trump administration is warning that more seizures could follow.
That's right. Our Washington correspondent John Decker has the latest details from the White House.
Just a day after U.S. forces seized a Venezuelan oil tanker, the White House is warning that more such military operations could happen in the future. The dramatic video of the oil tanker seizure operation was posted to social media within hours by Attorney General Pam Bondi. The video shows U.S. forces jumping out of Coast Guard helicopters and then searching the oil tanker on foot.
The Department of Justice requested and was approved for a warrant to seize a vessel because it's a sanctioned shadow vessel known for carrying black market sanctioned oil to the IRGC, which you know is a sanctioned entity. So the president is committed to stopping the illegal flow of drugs into our country.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt at Thursday's briefing said the sanctioned Venezuelan oil is now the sole property of the United States.
The vessel has been seized, as you know, and the Department of Justice did that in conjunction with the Coast Guard and the Department of War. The vessel is currently undergoing a forfeiture process right now. The United States currently has a full investigative team on the ground on the vessel, and individuals on board the vessel are being interviewed and any relevant evidence is being seized.
Leavitt warned that other Venezuelan oil tankers could be subject to similar U.S. military operations if they are also involved in an illicit oil shipping network supporting foreign terrorist organizations. Venezuela, in a statement, denounced what it called a blatant theft and an act of international piracy. President Trump, in an interview this week, warned that Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's days are numbered. At the White House, I'm John Decker.
Thanks, John. Well, former DOW officials are reporting that the Pentagon did not investigate whether War Secretary Pete Hegseth damaged national security when he shared sensitive information in a group chat on Signal earlier this year.
The investigation did not happen in part because Secretary Hegseth did not authorize it. Typically, a classification review and damage assessment would be initiated after any unauthorized disclosure of sensitive military information. The review would determine whether intelligence operations or sources had been compromised or whether mitigation was necessary.
Reportedly, Hegseth instead turned his attention to formally investigate staff members suspected of leaking information. The Navy has now handed over recommended punishments for Democratic Senator Mark Kelly, who is a Navy veteran.
No word yet on what that punishment might be. Kelly is facing investigation after he and other Democratic lawmakers appeared in a video reminding troops they are obligated to refuse orders that are illegal.
War Secretary Hegseth says that the video violates the Uniform Code of Military Justice, but legal experts say it's unlikely that Kelly would be recalled to active service to be court-martialed.
Lawmakers in D.C. also failed to pass a new resolution to impeach President Trump yesterday in connection to the Kelly video investigation. Texas Democrat Al Green introduced the impeachment articles Wednesday over recent comments suggesting 6 Democratic lawmakers be put to death.
House Republicans officially tabled that resolution with the support of more than a dozen Democrats.
Fort Sill hosted their last Sill Facts Town Hall 2025 yesterday at the Patriot Club. A wide range of topics were discussed, including winter preparedness and key points regarding Oklahoma's new DUI law, which went into effect November 1st.
That's right. In addition, Corvius discussed missed or delayed installs of their new geothermal units at on-post homes due to resident availability. They say that that could increase costs and it could hurt timelines. And the ADA and FA associations discussed the upcoming counter-UAS forum in February and the annual fire symposium in April, both being major events for their respective branches. The monthly forum is always well attended and provides two-way discussions about the things going on around post.
Department of Public Works, we had MWR, we had the commissary and AFIS here just to give information and updates to our senior leaders. The intent is for these senior leaders to receive this information and then disseminate it to the lowest level in their units.
Now, next month, Sill Facts is actually scheduled for its normal first Tuesday of the month time slot, so 11 a.m. on January 6th at the Patriot Club. For more information, you can visit the website that's listed at the bottom of your screen. Well, the Field Artillery Museum on Fort Sill is bringing the boom this weekend at a special event. I'm pretty excited about this, actually, Kyle.
I can tell the museum will be firing their muzzle-loading Civil War cannon in front of the museum tomorrow.
Now, there will be demonstrations at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., and noon, but please be aware the museum will only be open tomorrow from 9 a.m. until noon.
If you're looking for a fun way to keep warm and get some exercise this weekend, the Fort Sill MWR Reindeer Run is the place to be. Check-in is at 8 a.m. The run starts at 9.
Now, there will be a 5K and 10K run and ruck, a 1-mile fun run. Now, while the commemorative T-shirt, medal, and bib and jingle bibs are sold out, you can still participate in that run for free, so you can still show up. It is open to the public. And the Fort Sill Recycling Center is spreading the holiday cheer by providing live Christmas trees to soldiers and their families this weekend. So the trees will be given out tomorrow, so Saturday for active duty families from 7 a.m. until 5 p.m.
Now, if you miss out on that opportunity, the center will be handing out trees again Sunday. That giveaway is open to active duty retirees or civilians from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Trees are distributed on a first-come, first-served basis. You must have a military ID card, though. For more info, call the number on your screen. Still ahead, Army and Navy are set to square off tomorrow in the 126th iteration of America's Game. We'll have a full preview of the battle for the Commander-in-Chief's trophy when Good Morning Fort Sill returns.
This 7 News broadcast is sponsored by Southwest Buick GMC. Every evening,
a man charged in a deadly hit-and-run from 2023 has been sentenced.
7 News is working for you.
There's another shakeup in the Lawton City Council as another member announces their resignation.
Your first alert for what's next.
That triple-digit heat that you saw in those 2 towns, that'll be throughout most of our areas we heading in next week.
Uncovering breaking stories that impact Texoma.
The Lawton Firefighters Association is raising awareness about critical staffing issues.
7 News, working for you every night at 10. Don't wait to see the news that affects you. Know first with 7 News at 4 p.m. Here's your first alert forecast with meteorologist Michael Amanqua.
Well, good morning, everyone. We're seeing temperatures generally in the upper 30s to low 40s across the area. We're seeing a temperature of 41 in Wichita Falls, 34 at the airport, and a little a little caveat here. The reading at the airport typically is a little bit lower than the general area. For example, here at the station it's currently 44 degrees, so generally upper 30s and low 40s across the area. During the winter time, the station tends to read a little bit cooler than the rest of the area, especially during the fall and winter season, so just keep that in mind. It's currently 41 in Duncan right now, 44 in Elk City, 40 in Frederick at this time, compared to 24 hours ago. A little bit warmer, anywhere between 4 to 6, 7, or even 6 or even 7 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. 12 degrees warmer down in Graham, and we're seeing relative humidity values generally in the 50 to 60% range, and 89% relative humidity in Lawton, 67 down in Wichita Falls, 77% relative humidity value reading in Vernon. Looking at wind speeds, we're pretty calm right now, but we're going to get a cool front moving through, and as that does, that's going to switch our winds to the northeast, and it will be breezy today. We'll have strong breezy north winds anywhere between 10 to 20 miles per hour later on today, and you can see that front currently entering the northern portions of the state, and as that does, it's going to bring in slightly cooler air. Although we're seeing 60s and 70s yesterday, we're going to see generally 50s and low 60s out there, and we're still having more of a zonal flow right now. That upper level disturbance that gave a lot of heavy snow in portions of the northeast and the Midwest continues to push off towards the east and northeast. We're going to continue to have flow from the northwest in the upper levels, and that's going to allow more cooler air to filter in, especially as we get into your Sunday morning.
All right, Kyle, so tomorrow is the day I've been waiting for. It's the annual Army-Navy game, and one of the biggest rivalries in sports, to be honest.
That's right, but don't take our word for it. We went straight to the experts, the play-by-play voices for the Black Knights and the midshipmen, to get a more in-depth look at what we can expect tomorrow.
It's a December tradition, Army versus Navy, with the college football world watching. At stake, the Commander-in-Chief's Trophy, a winner-take-all matchup for the second year in a row.
I mean, Army-Navy is always going to be the biggest game, right? But that tangible trophy that shows that you were the top service academy football team for that season carries so much weight. Navy winning the game last year, winning the CIC trophy, that has really eaten at Army.
I think the other thing that's special about the CIC trophy is it's going to be in the stadium. It'll be here. I think when it's on site, I think it makes it a little bit more tangible for it. So that I think that just raises the bar of what to expect for Saturday.
Navy won last year's game 31-13. The midshipmen are the favorite again this time around. Led by a three-headed monster on offense, they're 9-2 and ranked in the top 25.
To have the success that Blake Orvath had, he's had one of the best quarterback ratings in the history of Navy football, and you team that with Eli Heidenreich, who's reset the record books in the receiving yardage, Alex Tesco, their running back, and these three offensive players have had a fine four-year career here at Navy. And I think if you win on Saturday, you get that conversation started about one of the greatest Navy football teams of all time.
For Army, it's been an up-and-down season. Big wins over Kansas State, Air Force, and UTSA to go along with some really tough losses. The Black Knights are 6-5, but a win tomorrow, and they're CIC champions for the third time in 5 years.
I think they're taking a mindset that they were the favorite last year by probably the same amount of points, and Navy beat them. So really, it's a game where anything can happen. It's going to come down to a handful of plays. I think a lot of attention given to the Navy offense versus the Army defense. I think the Army offense, though, is going to have to move the football and control the clock if Army's going to win this game.
The game will feature special uniforms as a tribute to the 250th anniversary of the armed services. The Black Knights will honor those who served and never returned with a marbled white look, while the midshipmen are recognizing Old Ironsides, the USS Constitution.
It's pretty crazy to read up on a ship that was built in the 1790s that is still operating. I think it's really cool to see that tangible connection between the uniforms, our history, and still something that is still standing here today.
And I think it's a chance to celebrate, so much more than the football teams at Army and Navy. Army generally honors an Army unit. Like always, there's little tweaks to the logo, little things that I think the fans really like.
The Army-Navy game has made its way up and down the eastern seaboard in recent years. For the first time since 2016, they're playing it in Baltimore. Kickoff is 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Man, Kyle, I am super excited. I got to say, go Army, beat Navy.
So you got any predictions?
But I don't know. I would say, I know the Navy is favored here, yeah. But I would say probably I'm going to go with Army. And I know the line is close, right? Like 1 touchdown. So let's say Army by a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, 7 of the last 10 matchups in the series been decided by a touchdown or less. So hopefully it'll follow that same streak tomorrow and be a good game.
Well, if you want to catch the action tomorrow, so the Patriot Club on Fort Sill will be hosting a watch party for the game. Doors open at 1, an hour before kickoff of the huge game there, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, there'll be drink and food specials as well as some chances to win some awesome prizes. So should be a good time there at the Patriot Club tomorrow.
So another big thing for tomorrow, to be honest, along with the Army-Navy game, it marks the birthday of the Army National Guard.
That's right. The first militia regiments in North America were organized in Massachusetts on December 13th, 1636.
So 358 years there. So today, the descendants of these first regiments, the 181st Infantry, the 182nd Infantry, the 101st Field Artillery, and the 101st Engineer Battalion of Massachusetts Army National Guard, share the distinction of being the oldest units in the U.S. military. Well, the Senate Armed Services Committee grilled military leaders on multiple topics yesterday, including the cost and legality of National Guard troop deployments across the country.
Every evening,
A man charged in a deadly hit and run from 2023 has been sentenced.
7 News is working for you.
There's another shakeup in the Lawton City Council as another member announces their resignation.
Your first alert for what's next.
That triple-digit heat that you saw in those 2 towns, that'll be throughout most of our areas we heading in next week.
Uncovering breaking stories that impact Texoma.
The Lawton Firefighters Association is raising awareness about critical staffing issues.
7 News, working for you every night at 10. Don't wait to see the news that affects you. Know first with 7 News at 4 p.m.
The Senate Armed Services Committee spent time yesterday questioning top military officials over National Guard deployments.
That's right. Republicans defended the decision to send the Guard into cities like L.A. and D.C. Democrats pressed them on the legality of those deployments and how much they're costing the American taxpayers.
Based on information we've gotten from the administration, National Guard deployments to American cities by this administration have cost taxpayers a little over $410 million so far, with the stated mission of restoring law and order and reducing crime.
In the department, we are constantly assessing all costs related to these deployments, readiness costs, fiscal costs, and I can say without a shadow of a doubt, this is not having a negative effect. This is a modest burden on the department. Most of these deployments are reimbursable in nature. They're not a Department of War bill.
Now, lawmakers are working to address mental health specifically with our nation's veterans.
Texas Congressman Tony Gonzalez has introduced the VA Zero Suicide Project Act to tackle the issue. The legislation aims to expand suicide prevention programs within VA hospitals and implement care that focuses on at-risk veterans and provide suicide-specific treatments.
Congressman Gonzalez says that the VA Zero Suicide Act gets to the root of the issue with veteran mental health.
Right now, we have all different types of veterans that seek care in different ways. We have to treat veterans differently. Not everyone seeks the same amount of care. You know, not everyone wants to take medication to get stress or to alleviate some of their stress. Some people want other alternatives.
Congressman Gonzalez says that we need to listen to our veterans who fought bravely for this country and work to get them the care that they need to drop the veteran suicide number down to 0.
A former football player with the University of Georgia is making a difference off the field for veterans experiencing homelessness.
Jason Dennis has more about Jordan Jenkins' efforts to get former soldiers off the streets.
A former UGA football player cutting the ribbon for one of the 2 houses he bought and gave to the Plumber Home nonprofit in Columbus to be used as transitional housing for veterans who have faced life-altering challenges like homelessness or prison. For a long time, Jordan Jenkins felt at home on the football field, from being a top recruit out of Harris County High to a star for the University of Georgia, then picked by the New York Jets in the 2015 NFL Draft, where the outside linebacker collected more than 22 sacks in 5 years. But growing up with a dad as an Army Sergeant Major, Jenkins knows the military is on a whole nother level.
If we think football and going through camp is nitty-gritty, going through what they go through in boot camp, going through what they see overseas, some of the PTSD they have, sometimes it's mental health that they need there's a lot of people that fall through the cracks. There's a lot of veterans who just sort of get left behind.
After major renovations by his own nonprofit, Harboring Change, these houses will allow the Plummer home to provide shelter for at least 40 veterans in Columbus, like former soldier Dominique Williams.
Before I got here, I was on the street for about 3 months, staying in abandoned apartments.
Out of pro football, working in real estate now, Jenkins is helping tackle the housing issue for local vets with these lower income units before they're ready to move out on their own.
They're not always going to be homeless. Eventually, they're going to start the path to recovery, start the path to getting back on their feet, and they're going to want maybe more privacy. They want to get a place of their own, but they don't have the rental history.
So these homes are going to be fully furnished and going to also give them a helping hand up. So instead of the high price of the apartments, we're going to have a reduced amount that you live within your means.
Giving vets a second chance, each Plummer home facility has about 5 bedrooms, 2 men per room. Jenkins just wants to support former military by bridging the financial gap.
Whatever the VA voucher is, whatever that number is, I'll charge them no more than that. If there's ever any gap from what the fair market rent is, my charity or someone else will come in and donate.
Here's your first alert forecast with meteorologist Michael Amanqua.
Now, as this cold front moves through this morning, you're going to start seeing wind gusts pick up, especially as you get into the afternoon hours. You can see wind gusts anywhere between 25 to 30 miles per hour with those strong northeast winds sustained at 10 to 20. And then as you get into tomorrow with another front moving in, this time, this is tomorrow night, Saturday night, around 9 to 10 p.m. And then we'll have gusts up to 25 to 30 miles per hour once again. Looking at today, that front will continue to push off towards the south. Mostly sunny to sunny skies are expected. And then as you go into your Saturday, pretty much the same. And then we get in another front come in. This is a stronger front that will bring in those much colder temperatures by Saturday evening. Look at future temperatures as you go into your Sunday. We could have mid to upper 20s and maybe a few low 30s by the time you get to your Sunday. Highs will only make it into the mid to upper 30s to low 40s across the area, but we slowly rebound into the 60s as we go into Wednesday of next week. Upper 50s and lower 60s for highs before another front is scheduled to come in by the middle to end of next week. So today, only a high of 60 degrees, sunny skies, and it will be breezy with those northeast winds sustained at 10 to 20 miles an hour, down to a low of 31 degrees. And so winds will briefly switch to the south as you go during the overnight hours before a stronger front comes in during the evening hours on your Saturday. So we're starting out mild on your Saturday, cooler later on as that front moves through. Now, as you look at your 7-day forecast, only a high of 61 on your Saturday, 38 will be the high on your Sunday. We will slowly rebound as we go into next week with 50s and 60s on your forecast.
Well, thanks for watching. Good morning, Fort Sill.
Good morning, Tex Home. What's up next? Stay with us.